When a man starts dating a single mother, one of the biggest mistakes he can make is thinking the relationship works like every other casual dating situation. It doesn't. A single mother is not only thinking about chemistry, attraction, or excitement. She is thinking about stability, emotional safety, time, trust, and the impact you could have on her life and her child's life. That changes everything. Many men enter these relationships expecting constant attention, spontaneous dates, endless texting, and emotional availability. But what they don't understand is this: a single mother's priorities were already decided long before she met you. Her child comes first, always. And if you secretly compete with that reality, the relationship will slowly collapse. Female psychology teaches us something important here. Women are deeply attracted to emotional security. A single mother has usually gone through emotional disappointment, betrayal, abandonment, or hardship that forced her to become stronger. She has learned how to survive without depending on anyone. That means she is far more cautious about who she allows into her world. So if she takes time to trust you, it's not because she's cold. It's because she has more to lose. Most single mothers are not impressed by charm alone. They've already seen men who talk well but disappear when responsibility appears. They've seen empty promises. They've seen emotional inconsistency. And because of that, they observe actions more than words. This is where many men fail. A man may say, "I'm serious about you." But in her mind, she's watching. Do you respect her time? Do you become impatient when she's busy with her child? Do you create stress or peace? Do you act mature when plans change unexpectedly? Because her life is unpredictable. A child can get sick, schedules can change, energy levels can disappear overnight. And if a man constantly complains, pressures her, or acts needy for attention, she starts seeing him as another responsibility instead of a partner. That kills attraction fast. What every man must understand is this: if you want to date a single mother successfully, you must stop thinking only about what you want emotionally and start understanding the pressure she already carries daily. Many single mothers are emotionally exhausted, even if they don't show it. They carry responsibilities silently, they solve problems quietly, and because of that, they value emotional maturity more than flashy confidence. This is why calm men stand out. A man who remains patient, a man who communicates clearly, a man who doesn't create unnecessary drama, a man who respects boundaries. That man becomes emotionally attractive. Another thing most men misunderstand is independence. Some men think, she doesn't really need me. Exactly. That's the point. A single mother usually wants a man, not because she needs rescuing, but because she wants meaningful companionship. And there's a huge difference between those two things. When you understand this, your mindset changes completely. You stop trying to impress her with ego. You stop forcing emotional intensity too early. You stop expecting her world to revolve around you. Instead, you begin building trust slowly. And trust is everything to her, because once a single mother lets you emotionally close, she's not just risking heartbreak for herself. She's risking disruption to the peace she worked extremely hard to rebuild. That's why emotionally careless men rarely last in these relationships. Before dating a single mother, every man must ask himself one honest question: am I prepared to bring peace into her life, or just temporary excitement? Because temporary excitement may attract her attention, but peace is what makes her stay. One of the biggest relationship mistakes men make with single mothers is expecting them to date like women without children. That expectation creates frustration, misunderstanding, and emotional distance very quickly. A single mother lives in two worlds at the same time. One side of her wants love, connection, romance, affection, and emotional intimacy. But the other side of her is constantly thinking about responsibilities, schedules, finances, safety, emotional stability, and her child's well being. That means her mind is rarely fully relaxed. And if a man cannot understand that pressure, he will eventually feel ignored, rejected, or unimportant, even when she genuinely likes him. This is where emotional maturity becomes extremely important. A mature man understands that when she cancels plans because her child needs her, it's not disrespect, it's responsibility. When she replies late sometimes, it's not always lack of interest. Sometimes she's simply overwhelmed. When she seems emotionally tired, it's not because she stopped caring. It's because motherhood can drain energy in ways many men don't fully understand. And this is exactly why patience becomes attractive. Female psychology shows that women feel safest with men who reduce stress instead of increasing it. A single mother already carries enough emotional weight daily. So if a man constantly demands reassurance, complains about attention, or becomes insecure about her priorities, she starts emotionally pulling away, not because she hates him, but because he feels emotionally heavy. That's an important truth every man must understand. Single mothers don't usually look for perfect men. They look for emotionally stable men, a man who understands timing, a man who respects boundaries, a man who doesn't create unnecessary emotional chaos, because chaos is exhausting to her. And many single mothers have already experienced enough chaos in previous relationships. Another thing men must understand is this: her child is not competition. Some men become jealous of the attention, time, or emotional energy she gives her child. Even if they don't say it directly, their behavior reveals it. They become passive aggressive, impatient, distant, or emotionally demanding. The moment that happens, trust starts breaking. A strong woman immediately notices when a man lacks emotional maturity around her responsibilities. And once she sees selfishness, attraction often fades quickly. Why? Because motherhood changed her standards. Before becoming a mother, she may have tolerated inconsistency, selfishness, or emotional games. But after having a child, many women become far more selective about who enters their emotional space. Now she asks herself, does this man bring stability? Can I emotionally relax around him? Does he make life harder or easier? That's the real evaluation happening behind the scenes. And here's something many men never realize. Sometimes a single mother pulls away not because she lost feelings, but because the relationship started feeling emotionally stressful. If every conversation becomes pressure, if every small delay becomes conflict, if she constantly feels guilty for balancing motherhood and romance, she begins associating the relationship with emotional exhaustion, and women naturally move away from what drains them emotionally. This is why understanding her lifestyle matters more than impressing her with words. Support matters, patience matters, consistency matters. Even small things become meaningful to her. Checking on her after a stressful day, understanding when she's overwhelmed, being dependable instead of unpredictable, communicating calmly during problems. Those things build emotional safety. And emotional safety is one of the strongest forms of attraction for a woman who has already faced difficult experiences in life. A single mother doesn't need another boy demanding attention. She needs a man who understands partnership, a man who realizes that loving her means respecting the life she already built before he arrived. Because if you truly want a future with her, you must first respect the responsibilities that shaped her into the woman she is today. One of the most dangerous mindsets a man can have when dating a single mother is believing she needs to be rescued. Many men enter these relationships with a hidden ego. They imagine themselves as the hero who will fix her life, heal her pain, or save her from loneliness. At first, this may sound caring, but in reality, most emotionally intelligent women can sense this mindset immediately, and it often pushes them away. Why? Because a single mother has already proven her strength long before you entered her life. She has survived emotionally difficult nights. She has handled responsibilities alone. She has carried pressure silently. She has learned how to keep moving forward even when exhausted. That kind of experience changes a woman deeply. So when a man treats her like she's broken, helpless, or desperate for saving, it can feel insulting instead of attractive. Female psychology shows that women value men who see their strength without feeling threatened by it. A confident man does not compete with a strong woman. He respects her resilience while adding support, stability, and emotional peace to her life. That balance matters because many single mothers don't want control. They want partnership. And there's a huge difference. Some men unconsciously become controlling because they think, if I'm helping her, she should prioritize me. But healthy relationships don't work through emotional debt. Just because you buy gifts, help financially, or spend time with her doesn't mean she suddenly owes you constant access, obedience, or emotional submission. Strong women notice this behavior quickly, and when they feel manipulated through kindness, they emotionally detach. Another important thing every man must understand is this: a single mother may move slower emotionally than other women you've dated, not because she lacks feelings, but because she thinks long term. She cannot afford to make reckless emotional decisions anymore. Her choices affect more than just her own heart now, so she studies consistency carefully before fully opening up emotionally. This is why some men become frustrated. They think, I'm doing everything right. Why isn't she fully invested yet? Because trust for her is not built in days, it's built through patterns. Patterns of emotional consistency, patterns of reliability, patterns of emotional safety. A single mother often pays more attention to your behavior during difficult moments than during romantic moments. Anybody can act loving when things are easy. But how do you react when plans fail? How do you react when she's stressed? How do you react when her child becomes the priority unexpectedly? Those moments reveal your real emotional character, and women notice that carefully. Another major mistake men make is trying too hard to impress her child too early. This creates emotional discomfort fast. A mature single mother usually protects the emotional space between her dating life and her child until she truly trusts the relationship. So, forcing your way into that role can feel overwhelming instead of attractive. Patience matters here too. Understand this clearly. You are not interviewing to replace her child's father. You are building trust with the woman first, and trust cannot be rushed. Sometimes men become insecure because a single mother appears emotionally independent. She may not constantly seek validation. She may not act clingy. She may not need constant communication every hour. But independence is not emotional coldness. In many cases, it's emotional survival. She learned how to function alone because life forced her to, and instead of punishing her for that independence, a wise man understands it. In fact, one of the most attractive things you can do is create an environment where she finally feels safe enough to relax emotionally. Not controlled, not pressured, not judged, just emotionally safe, because behind her strength is still a woman who wants love, affection, understanding, and connection. But she wants it with a man who respects her reality, not a man who tries to dominate it. The moment you stop seeing a single mother as someone to rescue and start seeing her as a strong woman worthy of genuine partnership, your entire relationship approach changes. One uncomfortable truth many men avoid admitting is this: some men are emotionally unprepared to date a single mother, and instead of being honest about it, they enter the relationship anyway, only to create confusion, insecurity, and emotional pain later. Why does this happen? Because many men are attracted to the idea of a strong, caring, emotionally mature woman, but they struggle to accept the reality that her life already contains history, responsibilities, emotional scars, and permanent connections to her past. And if a man cannot emotionally handle that reality, the relationship eventually becomes toxic. This is something every man must understand before dating a single mother. Her past is not disappearing. In many situations, the father of her child may still exist in some form through co-parenting, communication, or shared responsibilities. That does not automatically mean romantic feelings still exist. But immature men often create problems because of jealousy, insecurity, or ego. And constant insecurity destroys emotional attraction fast. Female psychology shows that women feel emotionally exhausted around men who constantly need reassurance. A single mother already manages enough stress daily. If a man repeatedly questions her loyalty, becomes suspicious, or creates drama around her past, she begins seeing him as emotionally unstable. That makes her feel unsafe emotionally. And emotional safety matters deeply to women who have already experienced difficult relationships before. Now, this doesn't mean you should ignore red flags or accept disrespect. Boundaries are important in every relationship. But there's a difference between healthy boundaries and insecurity driven control. Emotionally mature men understand this difference. Another reality many men struggle with is this: a single mother may not always have unlimited emotional energy for romance. Some days she may feel mentally exhausted. Some days she may prioritize sleep over long conversations. Some days she may seem distracted because life responsibilities are overwhelming her mind. And if you personalize every moment emotionally, you will constantly feel frustrated. Not every quiet moment means she lost interest. Not every delayed message means rejection. Not every stressful day is about you. This is why emotional intelligence is critical. Strong relationships are built when a man can understand emotional context instead of reacting impulsively to every small change. Many single mothers deeply appreciate men who bring emotional calmness into their lives. Why? Because calmness feels rare. She may already deal with financial stress, parenting stress, time pressure, emotional fatigue. So, if the relationship becomes another source of anxiety, arguments, pressure, or emotional confusion, she will slowly detach to protect her peace. And once a woman emotionally disconnects for peace, bringing her back becomes very difficult. Another important thing every man must understand is this: do not enter her life casually if your intentions are temporary. A single mother usually becomes more protective emotionally because heartbreak no longer affects only her. It can affect her child emotionally too if attachment forms. That's why emotionally unavailable men can cause serious damage in these situations. So be honest with yourself. If you only want entertainment, attention, or short term excitement, don't pretend to offer commitment just to keep her interested, because mature women eventually recognize inconsistency. And once trust breaks, rebuilding it becomes almost impossible. A strong single mother often values honesty more than perfection. You do not need to be rich. You do not need to be flawless. You do not need to say perfect words constantly. But you do need emotional integrity. That means say what you mean, be consistent, respect boundaries, communicate maturely, handle conflict calmly. Those qualities stand out more than fake confidence ever will. And here's the deeper truth many men finally realize too late: a single mother is often one of the most loyal, nurturing, and emotionally resilient women you can meet, if she truly trusts you. But trust for her is earned slowly because life taught her caution. So if you cannot accept her responsibilities, if you cannot respect her past, if you cannot handle emotional maturity, then don't waste her time. Because she has already survived enough disappointment to recognize when someone is not truly prepared for the reality of loving her. At the end of the day, the biggest lesson every man must understand before dating a single mother is simple: you are not entering an empty life. You are entering a life that already has structure, priorities, responsibilities, emotional history, and purpose. And the success of the relationship depends on whether you become a source of peace or another source of stress. That difference changes everything. Many men fail in relationships with single mothers because they secretly expect to become the center of her world immediately. But emotionally mature women are not looking for a man to revolve around. They are looking for a partner who fits into their life in a healthy and supportive way. And the men who succeed understand this deeply. They don't compete with her child for attention. They don't create unnecessary emotional pressure. They don't demand constant reassurance. Instead, they bring emotional stability. Female psychology shows that women become deeply attached to men who make them feel emotionally safe, understood, and respected. For a single mother, this matters even more because her life often requires constant emotional strength. Think about it. Most people only see the strong side of her, the responsible side, the hardworking side, the independent side. But very few people notice the emotional exhaustion she hides quietly, the moments she doubts herself, the nights she feels overwhelmed, the pressure she carries silently while trying to stay strong for everyone else. That's why emotionally supportive men become unforgettable to her, not because they save her, but because they finally give her a place where she doesn't have to carry everything alone emotionally. And that's powerful. Another thing many men misunderstand is commitment. Commitment with a single mother is not proven through big speeches, it's proven through consistency over time. Showing up when you say you will, communicating honestly, being calm during stressful moments, handling problems maturely instead of emotionally exploding. Those behaviors create trust slowly, and trust is the foundation of everything for her. Because once trust exists, her softer side starts appearing naturally. She becomes more affectionate, more emotionally open, more vulnerable, more supportive. Why? Because she finally feels safe enough to lower her guard. But that emotional openness only happens when a man proves he is emotionally stable enough to protect her peace instead of disturbing it. Now, here's something important every man should remember. Dating a single mother is not hard because she has a child. It becomes hard when a man lacks patience, maturity, emotional intelligence, or realistic expectations. In fact, many single mothers are incredibly loyal partners because they value genuine connection more deeply than superficial excitement. Life experiences often make them wiser about relationships. They don't usually care about meaningless games or fake social validation anymore. They care about character. Can this man be trusted? Can he stay consistent? Can he communicate maturely? Can he bring peace during difficult moments? That's the real test. And honestly, many men underestimate how attractive emotional reliability truly is. Looks may create attraction initially, charm may create excitement temporarily, but emotional stability creates long-term attachment. That is what makes a woman feel secure enough to invest her heart fully. So before dating a single mother, every man should stop asking, "What can I get from her?" and start asking, "What kind of emotional experience do I bring into her life?" Because if your presence creates calmness, support, trust, understanding, and emotional peace, you immediately become different from most men she has encountered before. And that's when a relationship stops feeling like pressure and starts feeling like home.